Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm Rolene Marks, bringing you the top stories from Israel every Monday to Thursday on this platform and on our YouTube channel at the Israel Brief. And if you haven't already, please click on the big red subscribe button. You help us get Israel's side of the story out to the masses. But we start our headlines, as we have for some time, with the COVID-19 global pandemic. And Israel's health ministry and government are mulling over whether or not to reinstitute some kind of lockdown. Now, they don't want to go into a full lockdown situation, so they are busy discussing whether or not we could go to nighttime lockdowns or weekend lockdowns, but haven't reached any decision yet. The health ministry also announced earlier today that they would be revisiting testing on asymptomatic people who might have COVID-19. And here's a little story that's sure to get a rise out of people. A drug that successfully treats erectile dysfunction is rumored to be really responding positively to helping those affected with COVID-19. I don't understand, or I don't know the exact scientifics of it, but apparently this drug for erectile dysfunction is helping victims of, or at least COVID-19 patients. Well, I guess there's always a treatment for something. But let's have a look at those stats. And from the start of the pandemic, Israel has 75,083 people who've tested positive for the virus, with 554 fatalities. At the moment, there are 24,766 people infected, 349 of them seriously, and 49,763 people have made full recoveries. And yesterday, Prime Minister Netanyahu saying our infection rate, although it has plateaued and it's kind of stabilized, the number of serious conditions and the number of fatalities are still far too high. In other news, the IDF struck several targets in Syria yesterday. This is in response to the border incident where a Syrian cell, and we still don't know which terror group they belong to, infiltrated through the border and was caught planting an IED device. They were eliminated, and upon further inspection it was found that a gun and other explosives were in and around the area. In response to this, the IDF struck Syrian military targets, and 16 Iranian soldiers and 5 Syrian soldiers were killed in the strikes. And just to echo what both the Prime Minister and the Defense Ministers said yesterday, that anybody who tries to encroach or attack Israeli sovereignty will be met with full force. And Benny Gantz, our Defense Minister, saying foolish is the enemy who tries to attack Israel. But it's not all serious news. We have some very welcoming news. These days, planes coming into Israeli airspace are a sight to behold, but none more than the Antonov A225, which is the biggest aircraft in the world, that landed at Ben Gurion Airport yesterday to throngs of aircraft enthusiasts or aviation enthusiasts who welcomed the aircraft. On board were US military vehicles that will be fitted with Iron Dome components and then sent back to the United States, which of course is showing yet again the strong bonds between the US and Israel. And if you missed out on Simon Felix's excellent article called Unbreakable Bonds, that's up on our website at www.layoftheland.online, which reminds me that if you're looking for good reading material, check out our website www.layoftheland.online. You can read Alex Rifkin's excellent article about whether or not there's a crisis in Zionism. We all grew up with incredible images and a connection to Israel as it was being built, as it was being a future Jewish state was being discussed in Basel all those years ago. But does the younger generation feel what we do? You decide. Give the article a read. It's also up on our Facebook page at Lottel Site. While you're there, give us a like, give us a follow, and don't forget to share our content. We're also on Twitter at Lay of the Land or with the digit 5. And of course, our YouTube channel at the Israel Brief. So there's enough social media to keep all of us occupied with regards to Lay of the Land. But I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Tuesday edition of the Israel Brief, and we'll chat again tomorrow.